Good evening, folks. We are back on the Nikon ZF because I can't be bothered faffing around with the mirror thing for Z9. I don't think it makes very much difference at all. And yeah, so that's that. It is way in the future. This video is about week 10 of my training plan. Things are going to come thick and fast for a little while now because I've got to catch up. We are right approaching the business end of the training plan and the marathon itself, and I'm about 4 weeks behind getting these things out. So the week-to-week transitions over the next few videos may just be presented by changing hats. And I may have the same clothes on because I'm just going to sit here and do a couple back-to-back, I think. That said, we are now talking about week 10. And week 10 was a deload week following the bit of a disaster I had on the long run of week 9, which I bleated about in the last video. And the deload week was exactly what I needed at this point in the plan, because I just needed to take my foot off the gas a little bit. I think the amount of distance that I'd been covering was taking its toll a little bit, and the frustration of not being able to do that 30k yeah, was weighing a little bit. So it was a fairly standard kind of week. I've got some notes down here because it was a while ago. A 13k easy run on the Tuesday, a 10k fartlek turned into on the Wednesday, an 11k easy on the Friday, and then 20k, a short 20k on the Sunday. It's a mark of how far I've progressed, and anyone that's going through these plans progresses, that a 20k run is a short run. Like, that's a half marathon. Yeah, but impressive, right? It makes me impressed with myself a little bit, even though I'm not doing it at any sort of speed. So, onto the runs themselves. Tuesdays went a bit like this. Welcome along. It's Tuesday morning, and this is 13k at easy pace. I'm chiefly going to use this to figure out whether my hip is fucked or not. Feels alright so far, but I'm not even a kilometre in yet. All I know is that I've kind of dug around and found the bits that are sore, and that when I found them on the foam roller this morning, it was excruciating. So I'm hoping it's just tightness, overuse, and we'll see how it goes today. There's the halfway point. All good so far, except I've just gone above zone 2. My hip I can feel, but it's not a problem. I don't know if I can just feel it because I had a prod around this morning and it's a bit bruised. My left knee is more of a problem today, humorously. But I think I'll be alright for the end of this one at least. Spoke too soon, didn't I? 9k, almost dead. Hip started playing up. Definitely feels like a fatigue thing. It's just some little muscle in there somewhere that doesn't like running more than 8.5 kilometers. Or my form's changing as I'm getting more tired, to a point that I'm recruiting that muscle and it's complaining about it. It's not terrible. I managed to, think myself out of it today. I was trying to understand which bits of my form had changed, whether I was slumping. There's this concept of hip rotation. So I was just trying to run more relaxed
and that seemed to get it. So I managed, without too much difficulty, to finish the run. But it's obviously something that needs to be addressed, as I don't know. Well, we'll find out this weekend, I suppose. I think I've got half marathon-ish this weekend, so we'll find out if I can run a longer distance than 13k on it. But it feels all right now. It's certainly not pulled. It's not an injury. It's just something that I need to figure out and work on. Anyway, it's lunchtime now. Ta-da.
And as you can see, I've got a bit more of a spring in my step back again, or at least I felt a bit happier at that outcome. It was nice to get, I suppose, the affirmation that I can still run a bit. And whether it was because I didn't do a big long run on the Sunday that I had some more in my legs, I don't know. But anyway, Tuesday was good. Wednesday continued in that vein, and it was a speed run, which I think I did at least most of the interval splits, the fast bits, reasonably quick for me, and that went like this.
Hi. It is Wednesday morning. I'm out on a fiendish workout. It's going to be a fartlek of sorts. 1k easy, 1k hard, 1k easy, 2k hard, 1k easy, 3k hard, and recovery kilometre. So 10k in all, of which 6 will be fastish. Wish me luck. And that's just over halfway. Tough going, tough sledding. I'm keeping my averages to almost bang on 6 minutes per kilometre, maybe a little bit under, which for all you hardcore Stravaites is painfully slow, but for me it's pretty good. So just the 3k stretch left to go now, which I don't think is going to be very nice at all, and then we can call it a day. And that is that all but done. Just in my final warm down kilometre. Did slow down towards the end, but I think still the last 3 was about a 6:04 average, which is still well within what I want to be running the marathon at, which is basically 6:15, 6:30. Just got to make that feel more comfortable now. As a ridiculous aside, I was talking to a colleague yesterday who's running a half marathon this weekend and is aiming to run that in basically 5 kilometre chunks at 20 minutes each. That's 4 minutes per kilometre for a half marathon, which is frankly absurd. So good luck to Ed on that one. I'm sure he will blast it because he is a machine. I, on the other hand, I'm going to blast some poached eggs on toast and a blueberry smoothie.
And then Friday, I'd spent a bit of time talking to a guy at work who does a lot of running and is very proficient, and he gave me some advice on finding a pace. Now, there's this argument that 180 steps per minute is the magic cadence that you must run at if you're a decent runner. And that's nonsense, because everyone's biomechanically different and people just naturally run at different cadences. However, I think there is an optimal cadence for every person that allows you to run in the most comfortable way. And everyone that's done a bit of running probably notices that if they try and run slowly, everything feels lumpy and you don't feel like you're moving with any grace or efficiency. And obviously, if you're running too fast, you're overdoing things, and increased effort doesn't generate increased pace. And somewhere in the middle, there is a cadence and a pace that match and suit the individual runner. And I've always found that to be quite elusive. And the cadence and stride that feels comfortable to me, has felt comfortable to me, I've not been able to sustain for very long. So I was chatting to Neil at work about this, and he said, it was a simple little thing really, try running along and breathe through your nose, not through your mouth. 2 strides in, 2 strides out. And just try and find the pace and the cadence at which it's comfortable for you to sustain that over a period of time. And so that's what I did on Friday. And I think I probably talk about it a little bit in the videos of that thing. So here are those.
Morning. Apologies, I've come out without my microphone. I'm on a mission today to find my Goldilocks running pace. And thanks to a work colleague who knows a lot more about running than I do, I'm going to achieve this, or try to achieve it, by doing some nose breathing and breathing to a rhythm. 2 steps in, 2 steps out, and see what sort of pace I can get to while I'm doing that. So, 11k, zone 2, oh this should all be in zone 2 by the way. So 11k zone 2, looking in absolute state, and I'll speak to you in a while. I won't be able to speak to you during the thing because I'm breathing through my nose, so I can't open my mouth. Anyway, talk to you later. 11k done. Excuse me. 11k done. It turns out I'm not just terrible at running, I'm also terrible at breathing. Neil McConnell is some sort of wizard. I think that a bit of discipline around the breathing and actually thinking about it and being intentional with breathing rather than just breathing because I have to. I'll have to look at the numbers, but I think that's taken about 20 seconds per kilometre off my zone 2 time immediately, which is just nuts. So I think I started at 6:25 and crept up, and I was just over 7 at the end, which is phenomenal. So I think my overall average for 11k was about 6:45 in zone 2, which is unheard of. So thank you, Neil. You get my vote for whatever. Lunchtime now. Tatty bye. Just to say, on top of being able to run further and easier or faster in zone 2, I think I'm also experiencing the runner's high, which is probably from taking in much more oxygen than usual. Oxygen. So yeah, it's a double whammy.
And whether I did or not, I don't know yet. I will by the time I've edited this. But I also tried, I think, at that point, and it's something I've been trying over the last few weeks, to up my cadence. So I've been trying to up my cadence over most of the marathon program, to be honest, because naturally I was running at around 155 steps per minute, which is really quite low. And I wanted to try and push it up closer to the 180, but to find that efficient spot, the sweet spot where my running economy is good. And actually something Neil said is at some point you'll hit a combination of pace and cadence where your heart rate actually drops for the same output of effort. And I think whether I've got to it or whether I'm getting close to it, I don't know, but it seemed to be 170 strides per minute, and that's what I was trying, I think, in this set of runs at the end. So that's certainly where I'm at now, future Gav. But yeah, we'll see. I might try and push it a little further. Probably not for this marathon, but it's nice to be moving in the right direction. And then Sunday was, as I said, a 20k, short 20k, just a little jog, a jaunt, and that went like this.
Good morning, YouTube people. Sunday morning. It's a cold morning, although probably not as cold as I'm making out with this hat and these gloves. We are doing 22 kilometers today, deload long run, nice and slow. I had a conversation with another work colleague yesterday who convinced me to some degree that my low heart rate, my zone 2 heart rate is too high. So I've redone my Covenant calculations, and while I don't quite agree with where he wanted it to be, it is lower than it was. So it's going to be even slower than usual, although we are today blessed with new shoes day. These fetching numbers. New Balance, I don't know, carbon plated things. My first carbon shoe, and we're going to see how they get on, how much faster they make me. 6k in. As I'd imagined, it's too warm, so I've rolled my sleeves up. Hat's staying on for now because my hair is an absolute mess this morning, and I don't want to get sweat in my eyes. All going all right so far. Shoes are really comfy, and I'm managing to stay in my new super low zone 2, which is very slow. More later, and that's halfway. Still all right. Couple of little niggles. That right hip still needs more work. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's anything seriously wrong with it, but it needs stretching and strengthening. So I'll get on with that. And I nearly cramped up in my left hamstring, which is weird. I don't think I've ever done that before, but it didn't, so that's fine. The shoes don't feel any faster. I think I'm not the type of athlete they're targeted at. Let's be kind to myself and put it that way. Time for another gel. That is 22k done. Mostly in zone 2. I did the last 4 in zone 3 just to spice things up a little bit and see where my endurance was at, and it was all right. Could I have done another 7 sticking in zone 2? Yeah, I think so. My knees are a bit sore, but other than that, fine. So I'm going to put last week down as an aberration and say it was just circumstance, too late, too tired, too much on, but today was all right.
And yeah, so really the whole week was positive. It was productive. I was back on the horse, and whether the clever people that put this plan together did it intentionally or not, you get a big kick up the arse with a massive long run that I certainly wasn't ready to cope with. And then you get a little pat on the head and an arm around your shoulder and a relatively easier week that was, well, not maybe fun, at least enjoyable. So that's that all done with. Thank you very much for watching. I've forgotten to say again, charity link below, Dementia Concern. Thank you for watching. Please consider sponsoring, even if it's only a couple of quid. All pounds and donations really welcome, and I want to do something nice for that charity. So I will speak to you in a couple of minutes and a few days. Charles?
Good morning, YouTube people. Although, no.
Oxygen.